The 2023 Seattle Seahawks went 9-8 and ended up in third place in the NFC West. That was behind the San Francisco 49ers, of course, and the Los Angeles Rams. Well, today I want to talk about and break down why I believe that if Mike Macdonald, our new head coach, can make this team even 5 or 6% better, the Seattle Seahawks will be a 10, 11, maybe even 12 win team in 2024. And I think it's really easy to realize. This is why the Seahawks are going to be a lot better next year. Now, before I even get to it, obviously I'm going off a lot of statistics. I'm going off net rating and kind of how we performed overall, because I believe we have the talent, and I think the talent's only going to get better this offseason. After releasing Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams and Will Dissly and all these different guys, the main purpose of that was to save money, have more money in our pocket, bring our cap space up to $40 million from 12, use the draft, use free agency, restructuring contracts. I'm not surprised if they're going to even do this with Tyler Lockett at some point, is either release and re-sign him on a smaller deal or restructure his contract. He's never leaving Seattle. He even does real estate there. So if you ever saw Tyler Lockett get released, let's assume that they're working on a restructure, just to throw that out there. Now, it's clear they're going to be good, and I want to make it clear that this is no hate on Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is the best coach in Seattle Seahawks history. He's my favorite coach in Seattle Seahawks history for the time being, at least, unless Mike Macdonald now goes out and wins like 5 Super Bowls. Well, probably if he wins 2. But the point is, this is not hate on Pete Carroll. We were just underperforming, and the coaching staff as a whole was probably underperforming, and it was time for a change. And you can see here, the Seahawks, okay, you know the talent on the team. They were obviously third place in the NFC West. On top of that, you look at some of the base statistics, right? 17th in points per game, 25th in opponents' points per game, which is awful. Rush yards per game, 28th. We're 4 away from last place, and 16th, which puts us slightly exactly in the middle, pretty much, actually, with pass yards per game. We did absolutely nothing excellent when it comes to the base stats. And now when you get down here, it explains everything. And it explains every part of why the Seahawks were not very good, right? Obviously, you can go here. If we look at team ranks, opponent ranks, etc., etc. Now, we're going to look at this line to start. Before we continue with the video, I just want to ask you guys a couple favors if you enjoy Seattle sports. We have a bunch of Seattle sports content on YouTube. We have a Seahawks page and podcast. We just did a podcast of Jackson Beavens from Cigar Thoughts yesterday. It's going to be up this weekend. So check out our Seahawks page. We have a Mariners and a Huskies page, and they're all my links in the description. This channel here is going to be half Seahawks, half other NFL, whatever I feel like talking in the world of football. But if you love just Seahawks content, make sure you check out those other pages. And last but not least, we're going to do a huge giveaway when we get to 2,000 subscribers on our mailing list. It is a Seattle sports only mailing list. It's in the links right here. The top link, you'll see we're at like 1,200 or 1,500, something like that, email subscribers. Put your email in. You'll start being part of giveaways, and 2 times a week get Seattle news, Seattle sports news in general dropped into your inbox. Now back to the video, okay? I want to see if I can get this a little bigger so I don't have to do that. There we go. 17 games. Over these 17 games, we were 17th in points, 21st in yards. And as you can see on this line, the red means bad, the green means good, the gray means middle. And there's only really 1 or 2 categories we were good at last year. Let's look at this. So team rank, like I said, 17th in points, 21st in yards, 32nd. Average yards per play, that's fine. I mean, 11th, but opponents was bad. You have rush yards, 28th. Rush attempts, 31st. Oh, by the way, this was plays. I don't know if I even said the word. So, I didn't even know they keep track of that. Average rush yards. Okay, and this is where we get to some of the okay stuff. Obviously, on the passing and rushing averages, we were fine. We also we're fine in the yards thrown. Now, average pass yardage, which means our receivers are very good. So we were at 7.2. This is really like one of the only really good categories, even in net rating. We were 10th in sacks at 38. You have 23rd in first downs, 24th in rushing first downs, 17th in passing first down, penalty first downs. We were 35 penalties, 35 first downs off the other team's penalties, which apparently is top 6. And we are 28th in penalties. And penalty yards 30th. So, as you can see, as a team, the only good thing that you could say that the Seahawks did, I'm not even going to look at the penalty first downs. That's the other team fucking up. And I know maybe it's us helping, or it's what we did, or maybe our offenses or defense, what our offense is causing teams to mess up. But that's just like a mistake by the other team. So that's not even that exciting of a stat. Our only 2 good categories really were sacks. We were 10th. And the average yards per pass, we were 10th. The next closest one would be like the average yards per play when it comes to in between rushing and passing. We're at 11th. That's because we were still 16th in rush. Overall, though, as you can see, not great. And it gets even worse when we go to the opponent ranks, which then in turn brings the net rating. Now, I'm not going to give you all the opponent ones. It is all here. You can see their numbers on this line. You can see the opponent ranks on this line. But what I'm looking at, which is to me the most important line, is the net rank. The net ranking, as it should be self-explanatory, but I'll just add some explanation here if it's helpful. You have, for example, on rush yards, okay, where we're 32nd, last place. We were 28th in rush yards with 1,580 yards on offense. Defensively, we gave up. That was 28th, so 4th to worst. On defense, we gave up 2,352 yards, which was second to last in the NFL, which in turn means we gave up, that's why it's in the negative, 772 more rush yards than we earned, which put us in last place net rating in the entire NFL. So the net rating takes what you did versus what your opponent did and averages them out to say when it comes to rushing and the rushing yards against us, we were the worst in the NFL last year. So if you look at points, we were 22nd. Anything in the red is bad, obviously. Anything in the green is like top 10. Anything in the regular font color, once again, is like middle of the pack. Points, minus 38. Point differentials, 22nd. We were 28th in yards. A bad 28th. Bottom 4 in yards net rating. Last in plays. So we had 995 plays while our opponents had, which was last place in the NFL offensively and defensively. We allowed 1,147 plays to go against us, which was also last place. They coincide, right? If the defense has to stay on the field, the other team's offense is going to get more plays in. And if your offense is not converting first downs, we're also not going to get that many plays. So 32nd. Average yards in general, our net was like 0. So it's right in the middle at 14th in the NFL because we were 11th in yards per play. Opponents were 25th. Rush yards, we were again last place. We had 1,580, which is 28th, which is 4th to last. And our opponents rushed 2,352 yards on us, which is second to last. So our net rating is last. Rush attempts, we were second to last in rush attempts last year. We were bottom 3 team in the rush attempts against us, which puts us in last place in the entire NFL net rating as well. In 3 out of the first 6 categories, in plays, in rush yards, in rush attempts. Average rush, 26th, the yards per rush. Passing yards, we were 16th, right smack dab in the middle of 4,167 yards with giving up a lot more at 20 seconds. We were 18th. We're actually okay at that category, I guess, but it's still not great. 22nd on the opponents. Pass attempts, 20th in the red. Average pass, we were 10th, remember. But opponents also, yards per pass, 22nd. We're pretty low down there. Bottom 10 team, which puts us 16th. Now, sacks. Our only net rating in the green this season for the Seahawks was sacks. We had 38 sacks. We only gave up 47 on the year, which was 11th, which put us at 10. We had we only gave up 9 more sacks than we had, which puts us in the top 10, shockingly. Sack yards, whatever, we're 22nd. First downs, this is also bad. We were the 9th worst in getting first downs. We gave up the most first downs in NFL, 32nd at 380, which puts us at second to last in net rating. Another, rushing first downs. We were 24th, which is bottom 8, and the first downs we rushed for. We were last place in the first downs in rushing that we gave up. We gave up the most first downs rushing as a defense, which puts us in last place net rating as well. Passing first downs, 21st. We were bottom 6 in what we allowed. Now, penalty first downs, 15th, right in the middle. We gave up actually a lot of first downs off our penalties, of course, because sometimes we do that. We were more than slightly undisciplined. Penalties. I'm actually interested in this one. We were 28th, of course. So bottom 4 team in penalties. Penalty yards, 30th. Third to last, in penalty yards. But we gave up on the other end, not as bad. Our opponents had 103 penalties against us as top 10 and 13th in yards with 824 penalty yards against our opponents, which puts us respectfully still at 22nd and 24th in net rating. So I say all that to say you can see the Seahawks have talent. If we look at the roster, well, some of these guys are off the roster. I was hoping it would show us the stats. Geno Smith had a decent year passing. He did. He was not as bad as you think he was, if you're one of those people. Now, you can see some of the ranks here. They don't make it look like it was that great. It was middle of the pack with some injuries. Okay. Kenneth Walker, what's his rankings? He was kind of a middle of the packish guy as well. Receiving, not very high. Metcalf was all right. It's top 7 in touchdowns, top 20 in yards. Okay. So there's talent. There's talent, all right. And it's something that we got to figure out. This is why I believe if Mike Macdonald can find a way to get this done the right way and make this team even 5, 6, 7% better with what I see in net rating and how bad we were in so many spots, and we won 9 games, making us that much better is going to put us at 10, maybe 11, maybe 12 wins. If the players obviously follow his lead, have good seasons. Geno needs to go back to 2022. Geno. Kenneth Walker needs to have a good year. The receivers have to show up. We need to find a tight end. We need to figure out a couple pieces defensively. But what Mike Macdonald did was go to Michigan and fix their defense from one of the worst defenses in the country for a couple years to one of the best. He went to Baltimore, made one of the best defenses we've ever seen for a season this last year. It was unbelievable. They beat the Seahawks 37-3. The Seahawks couldn't score more than a field goal against the Ravens. That's how good their defense was. So I'd be very surprised if he can't make this defense better than what it was. Get those numbers up just a tiny bit. We're winning 11 or 12 games. And third place finish in the NFC West, which we're going to play a lot easier schedule than we have in a lot of years past when we finished higher. That's also a plus to the way this year happened. For a new coaching staff to come in, it's going to be a little easier schedule. I'm not that stoked about the fact that we didn't make the playoffs last year, but I will say, like I said, we're going to have it's not going to be easier schedule than usual. Guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And look below. We have all our Mariners, our Huskies, our Seattle Seahawks podcasts, and different things. Please check those out and add to our mailing list. I appreciate y'all, and we'll talk soon. Peace.